Yeah.
1934.
1934. This was a
Gibson L10.
L10, yeah.
How long had Gibson been making guitars at that point?
Maybe around in 1934. So late 1800s. I think there's late 1800 Gibsons.
Really?
I don't know so much about. I mean, you see instruments turning up around, in the teens. I don't know much beyond that. I mean, Martin's been around for a long time. I think Gibson was too, but.
Oh, listen to that.
So this is this is a jazz guitar. This is the premium instrument that was made during the time was an L5, and this was the L10. The L5 cost $225, and the L10 cost $175. But it's highly desirable.
And those prices in the middle of the Depression?
I
I
know.
mean, that'd be like a car.
I think it was. It was still an expensive proposition.
Wow.
But this is my pride and joy. I play it every day.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is lovely. Do you know what kind of wood it is?
Yeah, it would be maple and mahogany.
It's so dark, you wouldn't have thought.
And
Well, mahogany.
So
yeah.
the L5 had a sunburst finish like this, but the L10 had a black finish, and that's what kind of made it. I think they didn't have to spend as much time finishing it,
Yes.
so they could charge less for it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do the special treatment.
They
with
didn't
the
exactly.
airbrush effect. Who knows how they did that at the time.
This is 1962
Oh.
Brazilian rosewood Martin.
Also a Martin. Do you specialize in Martins or just whatever's interesting?
If I get a good deal on them, it doesn't really matter what it is, but I'll
And you play what kind of jazz is it?
Django
Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a really acoustically, it has a whole different kind of function to it, but
Wow, that is beautiful.
So that's a kind of a folk guitar.
And what is the bar here? Is that for
this right here?
Yeah.
It's a DeArmond pickup. It is is a vintage. These also have a lot of value to them. They're an antiquated method of amplifying a guitar, and they just I like old things. And this is one of them. And
so this is not electric in any way. It just amplifies the sound.
it is actually. You plug it in.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
You plug it in there.
And I put this little rosewood port in it. Mm-hmm.
I know how handy you are at making things.
I can manage a few things. It's nice of you to ask. But this is a guitar I acquired recently.
Oh.
And this
This looks small.
yeah, it is a little bit small.
Like between a guitar and a violin
Actually,
of some
no,
sort.
it's a 1957. I feel like I'm on a guitar show, which is kind of fun. But if your kids know anything about guitars, they would. This is
look at that,
electric
it's a-
guitar.
Yeah.
So this is a
Grish.
1957 Gretsch Duojat, and the thing that makes this notable is that this is the guitar that George Harrison and the Beatles showed up in 1957. He became famous for using this guitar. So
Really?
In 1957. So this one has a very particular. Some of the features are only partial to 1957.
It was just that one year.
Yep, and this guitar has quite a bit of value to it, and these are all for sale. I have them on
Oh my goodness, you've
a
got
website, but
so many.
I have and I have more in the garage. I have more in the closet, but they're I buy them, I sell them. I just sold a guitar on Saturday, and I made some money on it, and I was
That's
happy about
good.
that.
Yeah. Buy low, sell high. That's the
my
plan.
objective.
Can't always do it.
I'm mostly interested in acoustic guitars, but this one came up for sale, and it had a very
historic
and it was a kooky fella selling it, and his dad owned it for a while, and it had about 40 or 50 years of tobacco smoke on it, and it took me a while to get it off.
Oh, really?
That's a lot
hard stuff to clean up.
like hours to get it off.
Oh my!
So that's a fun fact right there.
You had that case for it too.
Yeah, the case. I did buy a few things. The case is the proper case for it. It didn't come in the proper case, so I sourced a proper case, and then the bridge I also sourced. The bridge is made by this company called Melita, and it was an Italian immigrant who came to this country and developed two things: a guitar bridge for this instrument and the Melita coffee filter.
That's right.
And he made
that was it.
Yeah, and he
guitar
he
bridge
hit a home run.
and coffee filter.
I didn't really explore much beyond that. I think he made his money in coffee filters, and then maybe he could explore other things that interested him.
Isn't that funny?
So this is a typical gypsy style guitar here.
Oh,
and it's in need of a lot of work, but it's a traditional, what's called Selmer style guitar.
Selmer.
Yeah, so the French company Selmer, who made all kinds of band instruments, made cornets and saxophones and trombones. I mean, they made tons of different types of brass instruments. In the in the 30s also, they wanted to get into the guitar building business, and they hired this guy named Mathewes, who was an engineer and a good player, hot shot player, to design a guitar for him. They designed this style guitar. This one the neck needs to come off, and the action needs to come down. But I got it for a song too, so
really?
It's kind of a fun project.
Do you find them online mostly, or?
I look everywhere. I find them mostly online. I mean, yeah, even this guitar, this it was for sale just up here in Washington.
Oh, really?
And the gentleman, I just happened to be going into work that day. He said he'd bring it down, which was kind of unusual, and I brought it from him there. Yeah. And then these all need work here. This is a nice jazz guitar also from the 30s or 40s. I'm not exactly sure.
I like that. What's it called? A plectrum or something that keeps you from scratching the finish.
Yeah, a pick guard.
Pick guard. Yeah.
I like pick guards, and that's just a fun
little
cowboy guitar.
And cowboys on it. Was that like for kids when they're learning how to?
Yeah, they had these novelty guitars,
When I bought my guitar, I got it at Woolworth's.
Yeah.
And it was a 4-string guitar.
It was a baritone. They call those tenor guitars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the tenor guitars there were a couple eras where tenor guitars were extremely popular.
Really?
Yeah.
It was sure a lot easier to play. When I had to add on those other 2 strings, it was like, what?
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, the Kingston Trio were famous for playing tenor guitars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And actually, one of the sons. I could talk about guitar things for if you get me started. One of the guys in the Kingston Trio, his son lives in Portland, and he started a tenor guitar society.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they meet in Astoria once a year, and I went to it last year just for fun. Small group of people. Not a lot of people. I think it has some interest, but it's not. That's my little travel guitar.
That's a younger one, isn't it?
That's a carbon fiber instrument.
Close.
Yeah, and that is.
Is it German?
It is made by these 2 brothers in Utah.
Oh, really?
And the neck comes off, and so when they were just in Greece and New York, I wanted to travel with an instrument. I sold a little guitar, and I bought this.
And this doesn't have a lot of years on it.
It doesn't, and it was purely a utilitarian function. Like I needed a guitar to travel with.
Yeah, you need a folding guitar.
Yeah, so I something I could get in my baggage, and I wasn't going to have to worry about too much. Like you can use it to paddle a boat with. I understand, like a canoe. It's
pretty indestructible.
Yeah. You can run over it with it. It should be, but it's a nice little guitar to travel with. Yeah. And
So
then,
that's the last one that we haven't
so
been introduced
this is
to.
a funny little thing. It's called a Norma. It's made in Japan. It really has no value, but it needs a neck reset, and it was $60, and it's solid wood, and it's if an instrument is made of mahogany and spruce, it's worth some time putting into it. So I'm gonna take the neck off it and put it back on, and that'll be a fun little project for me.
Do you worry about when you're cleaning it up, it ends up being you change the finish?
I don't.
No, you don't.
No. I'm keenly interested in preserving the finish.
Okay,
I wouldn't take the finish off an instrument.
Because that's the patina.
Yeah, that's the sort of, that's the integrity in the instrument. And I'll take off the tobacco smoke. I'll take off a lot of other things. You want to see another guitar?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this was a guitar by a famous jazz player in Seattle. And he played on this variety show called Stan Bornson. And he had a novelty act. He was called the funniest Norwegian. And he was an accordion player, and he was famous for songs like "I Just Don't Look Good Naked Anymore," and he was just like he was like a clown comedian, entertainer in the 50s in Seattle.
Wow.
It was called the Stan Bornson Show.
Stan Bornson.
Yeah, and it's just hysterical, and he's just a kook. And the gentleman who owned this guitar was a professional player and played on television. And I bought it from his son-in-law, who had it for sale in some remote part of Washington. And I think the only reason it didn't sell because people didn't want to drive out there and get it. But I happened to be driving through that area, and I purchased it. Oh. Yeah, and it's for sale also. So I built the pickguard for it.
Oh yeah.
And then did some other work on it. It needed a little bit of work, and I did some work to it. But this is a very nice jazz guitar. This is built in 1947.
And this is the same kind of guitar that the Norwegian comedian used.
It was on his show. So that guy was an accordion player, but he had session musicians playing with him.
Yeah.
So this is a nice big round sounding jazz guitar. It has a very large body, and it was a fun find too.
What is the kind? It's just called gypsy jazz. Is that?
Yeah, Django Reinhardt style jazz, and
that's a lot of picking, I guess.
Those guys they knew how to play down, to play a lot of. Very angular kind of sound.
Yeah. I'm so ignorant. I would say it sounds sort of Spanish. Sounds kind of flamenco to me.
They're famous for a scale that.
Yeah.
Kind of dark.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and it's kind of real percussive. And their instruments generally, these are arch top guitars, which I like a lot, but they traditionally play a Selmer style guitar, and they're really brittle, they're really kind of sharp, and they're kind of cutting, and they're intended to represent the snare drum as kind of a percussive instrument.
Really?
And so they play them kind of, they play them close to the bridge. Yep, and there's it's fast and challenging.
Yeah.
It's really been challenging, and it's been kind of a good learning experience.
That's wonderful to go on learning.
I know. It really opened a whole box of worms for me. And it's been, and I found some guys about my age, a little older, that have been at it for a while. and we play together every week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and they're real supportive, and we're all kind of supportive of one another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of you to ask. And, this is what I'd like to do with my spare time. And
Along with all your other talents.
well, I have, I'm easily distracted, and I've got